live in 4 minutes. Lynn Cullen goes live in 3 minutes. Lynn Cullen goes live in 2 minutes. Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
You got to turn me up. There it is. There, I'm hearing myself now. Okay. All right. But we need to bring my producer, Celine, is on her way. She's about a minute away, and we've got poor Ashley in here who's... What? Margaret. Oh, Margaret. God. Oh, Margaret.
Ashley would know what she was.
That's right. No, this is how cabalic up I am. You got us on, Margaret. We are, right? We're on.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we are too.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, it seems to be.
So nothing seems to be going right yet this morning, although that was the first thing that went right. Celine should be in to spell poor Margaret, who leapt into uncharted waters and got us on the air. Meanwhile, my eagerly awaited guest is still not here either. I am up a creek without a paddle. This is weird. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're waiting for Damon Young. I sure hope to heck he's coming. And if he isn't, it's my fault because I probably screwed up communications in some way. But there's so much to talk about that we'll be fine. We can do this without him and without Celine. Just watch. Okay? Whew, what a beautiful day. Okay, beautiful day. Everything's fine. There's Celine. Way to go. Aw, poor Celine. Celine, you're here. You did it. Margaret did it. I called her Ashley. But Damon's not here.
Can't fix that.
Well, fix it! What do you mean you can't fix that? Okay, so Celine's getting her breath, and I'm sort of trying to figure out what to do here, too. When in doubt, do an obituary. Don Featherstone. He's dead. Did you know him? No. But this thing that he made, it became an iconic, what would you call it? Iconic thing. I don't know what to call it. He's the guy who invented the pink plastic flamingo. And you know what happens when you're the one who invented the pink plastic flamingo? You actually get your obituary on the front page of the newspaper of record, the New York Times. Oh, God. Pink flamingo. Came up with it in 1957. I guess they call it the enduring emblem of kitsch. Madison, Wisconsin, where I lived before I came to Pittsburgh, was particularly enraptured by pink flamingos. When I was living there, Madison awoke one morning, and pranksters, clever pranksters, had completely blanketed the huge hill called Bascom Hill at the center of the University of Wisconsin campus. The thing is a huge hill, steep too, a little like Negley, going up Negley Avenue. And it was blanketed in pink flamingos. There's a, hate to use the word twice, iconic picture of it that all Madisonians would know. So it would not come as a surprise to learn, and it did to me because I didn't know this. In 2009, the Madison City Council, after debating the issue for all of 5 minutes, voted 15-4 to designate the pink plastic flamingo as the city's official bird. Some people, I guess there's a lot of condo associations, homeowners associations that specifically ban the plastic pink flamingo because it is considered, bad taste. Anyway, the guy who designed it looks like exactly like you would think. The guy who designed the I can't say it. The plastic plink flamingo would look. He looks happy. He looks a little goofy. And it turns out that he was happy and goofy, as was his wife, who made them, get this, it's hard to believe, matching outfits, which they wore every day of their marriage. Doesn't that fit nicely with the guy who invented pink flamingos? It does. It's perfect. It says right here, in an act of connubial solidarity, they wore matching outfits handmade by Mrs. Featherstone every day from the late 1970s on, and many of them in flamingo patterned fabrics. Anyway, there you have it. Do you want me to go to check upstairs? Rodney's on vacation. Well, wouldn't some idiot that's there know? Okay, you go ahead. Now Celine is going looking for poor Damon Young, who may in fact be wandering. Oh, by the way, the newspaper this morning had the answer to what happened to us yesterday by way of unexpected difficulties. When shortly after the show opened, we went off the air, just like that. And believe me, nobody understood what was going on. But apparently, some kind of a fuse blew in a Duquesne Light facility on Bruno's Island. Is that how it's pronounced? B-R-U-N-O-T, Island? And it knocked out a lot of people's power on the north side in Manchester and some in the downtown area, although the Duquesne Light spokesman said in the paper, but in the downtown area, we have so many other stations that no one was seriously impacted. They would have immediately switched over to another blah, 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 which ain't true. We were off for what? A whole 10, 15 minutes, I think. At any rate, that's what it was. It was not the building specifically. It was a Duquesne Light fiasco. No. Okay. Well, the only thing I can think is maybe he drove down and you took his parking space. Oh, man. There it is. That's why the electricity went yesterday. Damn. Incredible news. Or not. Not. Did you see that UPMC hospitals, specifically at this point, Children's, Shady Side, and Mercy, are no longer carrying the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette in their gift shops? You know, you go to visit somebody at the hospital, or you're in for a long siege at the hospital waiting for somebody who might be in surgery or whatever. And you go down to the gift shop and you get yourself a candy bar and a bottle of water and the newspaper. UPMC will not allow the PG to be sold in its largest facility. What kind of childish behavior? Just when you think they can't do anything else more sort of like a 3-year-old having a tantrum. And of course, the reason is what you would think. Because the Post-Gazette has said things about us that we don't like. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. When you're the biggest act in town, UPMC goes. What you do has a greater impact on all of us poor peons who live here than any other, I mean, sometimes more than government does. You are the story. And often what you do impacts us. That's news. So the Post editorial on it, I like it. And they go right to the top, exactly as they should. The guy who I have been ridiculing and maligning, but not slandering, because slander requires untruth, right? If you're telling the truth, it can't be slander. CEO, the bald Jeffrey Romoff. I know, okay, all you bald people don't start emailing me. I'm sorry. When I think of him, I think of that melon of a head. I usually love bald men, the way they look. Okay. I'm just going to read a little bit of it because they're just right on. And I'll tell you, PG, this isn't going to help you get your paper back in UPMC's gift shops, this editorial. You'll be banned for life, at least for Jeffrey Romoff's life. Here it is, from the Post-Gazette today. This vexing and troublesome UPMC is not a Post-Gazette creation. This is after they've gone through all the things, all the stories that have had to be covered. You know, the scaring the bejeebers out of old people, the shutting down of Braddock Hospital, the fact that they've been put on probation by the transplant center because they've been apparently not following the rules. There are all these recent stories. Their union, the difficulties. And they go on to say this vexing and troublesome UPMC that we read about is not a Post-Gazette creation, but that of UPMC's $6.4 million man, Jeffrey Romoff. All a good news organization does is hold up a mirror. Some UPMC chiefs apparently can't bear that their reflection looks nothing like Mother Teresa. So out go those vile copies of the Post-Gazette. Not content with just life-changing medicine, the empire is bent on UPMC changing journalism. Well, sorry, Mr. Romoff. It ain't gonna happen. For those of you visiting a loved one during a long day at a UPMC, and then they go on to say, you're just going to have to come with your own Post-Gazette. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thin-skinned UPMC? They make quite clear, and I should do it more often. By the way, that when I'm ragging on UPMC, as I do, it is not ragging on many people who work there. They're not responsible for the childish behavior of their gazillion dollar administrative staff. And they make clear that many Pittsburghers feel the same. We appreciate many of the doctors. We appreciate this. We appreciate, but damn, we don't like Jeffrey Romoff and his, $29 million lieutenants. Or is it 30? I don't know if that 30 includes him when they give the number. Yeah. So there it is. They banned the sale of the Post-Gazette from their gift shops. Strangely, as I said, there are only 3 hospitals where we know that that's happened. And the only reason we know that's happened is because the drivers who deliver the Post-Gazette to the gift were turned away at those 3 places the other day. And so, was it Paul Wood? What a job that guy's got. He must have drunk the Kool-Aid or he couldn't have it. He's like the spokesman of UPMC. He said something to the effect that the 3 presidents of those 3 independent hospitals, 3 different heads, all for some reason on the same day, he says, with a straight face, decided to ban the Post-Gazette. That this did not come from Jeffrey Romoff. Yeah, all three woke up yesterday, and all three independently thought, why, damn it, I am going to ban that rag from my gift shop. Take that, Post-Gazette. What's next? I mean, seriously, what's next? I wish my imagination could come up with. You have to sort of inhabit the mind of a 3-year-old. And even as a 3-year-old, I didn't have a mind. I was a uncomfortable child. Well, I think that's what it would be. At any rate. So for those of you just joining us, for some reason, my guest, who you know I was plugging and very excited about, isn't here. Damon Young from verysmartbrothers.com. Check him out. Check him out. He's got a great piece on everybody going kaflooey over Obama's use of the N-word. He's got an anchor who is odd, but he's. I don't know. I don't know what happened. We'll figure it out and get him back, get him on course, because I want him here. I definitely do. Well, so what? I really am flummoxed now. So what? I mean, I didn't do my usual sort of the kind of prep I usually do, because I knew what I'd be talking about today, and now here I am. Well, I cut out a real recipe from the New York Times. Would you like to hear that?
I would.
You would? I haven't made chicken in so long. I mean, it was all I ate for a long time, and then it just, I just don't think a chicken is anything I want, especially barbecued or grilled chicken. But they say these are surefire recipes. Just don't, not to end up with a dry hunk of relatively tasteless meat. Not that we really want to talk about that. So, there was a piece in yesterday's, I think, New York Times about the fact that women are forever, I'm sorry. And it is true. And I'm sure I do it. I bet Celine even does it. And we're both pretty tough, unapologetic women. Yeah, and yet it comes out of our mouths. So women who are submissive, God knows how many times in a single day the average woman says, I'm sorry. And always, I mean, not always, always, when there is absolutely no reason for an apology. It is almost like, I mean, we apologize for things we had nothing to do with. We apologize. We're always doing that, right? And that's got to stop. I'm sorry, but that's got to stop. Hello?
Yes.
Hi. Hello? It's Lynn.
Yes, Lynn.
Yeah.
My question has been for many years now, this UPMC problem.
Mm-hmm.
What's with the board? Why don't we hear from them?
You tell me. They all drink the Kool-Aid too? They're all afraid of him? I don't know, because that board has some really big shots.
Aren't they prominent Pittsburgh people?
Yes, and I know some of them. And I feel differently about them. I mean, I do. I'm just, I can't respect them like I used to. I know two very well, both women, and powerful women who, and I just don't know why they can't rein in this this lunatic at the top.
Well,
I don't know, and I really
it just doesn't
don't
make
get
sense
it.
to me that it's always been my understanding that the board should be controlling the
Yes.
administration, but
Yes.
obviously they don't have the, you know, what.
Well, I'll say it for you. They don't have the balls.
Yep.
And I don't know, or sitting on that board, you end up drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't know. You only see their point of view, what they are told. But you are right. A board, ostensibly, is the employer. That board is the employer
That's
of
always
Jeffrey
been my
Roma.
understanding.
But I have been on boards, and it is interesting. Some boards clearly are that, and other boards, you wouldn't know it. Believe me, you would not know it. It's so clear that they do the bidding of the very person that they are supposed to be riding herd
Yes.
on. Yeah,
Well,
it's something, and shame on them, because even if there's like reason, there is no reason for this kind of behavior, the childishness and the bully boy tactics that they employ, and the fact that they've clearly lost track of their mission, which is about your health, my health, not their damn bottom line or their status. It's
Well,
like they're
thank you.
yeah, thank you. Okay, I appreciate it. The kind of cutthroat tactics UPMC are what you would expect from a for-profit, crazed, take no prisoners capitalist corporation, right? That's not what UPMC is. They don't pay their fucking taxes. They don't have to pay taxes because they're a charitable nonprofit. The world is their oyster. You can imagine when you're that powerful and that rich, how rankling it must be to have this newspaper poking at them and painting unflattering pictures, which are simply stating facts. It's really something. All right. Dawn wants to know, I just tuned in, where's Damon Young? I wish I could answer that. He ain't here. Dawn says, I know him and his wife. They're a lovely couple and so involved in being the change in our community. I hope he rescheduled. There's been some kind of snafu. We'll reschedule. Yeah, caller. Hello.
Hey, Lynn.
Hello.
No chicken recipes, please.
Don't worry about
You are
it. Okay.
that desperate. You got good stuff here with the UPMC thing.
Okay. What do you have to say?
Well, my wife read that off the internet this morning. I just cracked up. I said,
You can't believe it.
yeah, but here's the thing. I thought that would be a lead thing that you would be talking about this morning. You know, frothing at the mouth and all worked up, which would be appropriate. But you are getting into it.
I am. I'm starting to get in.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It is so juvenile and so unprofessional. I mean, today corporation types are much more sophisticated in grooming of the communications media.
Exactly. Right.
They have press relations. That's what that's all about. It's about grooming the press. It's about explaining clearly their position. It's about getting them to be friends with them. How could these people be such numbnuts?
Well, you know,
be in a newspaper.
You know what I think it is, and I alluded to it. they are more powerful than any entity in southwestern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they're the top employer.
So, well, and they're richer than anyone, and they don't care about how people perceive them. Obviously, they don't, because they're the only game in town practically. They really are. This shows the danger of.
Example, I say, of third world phenomena that this country is into. This is what South American dictatorships and oligarchs do.
It's like we all live on UPMC's plantation.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, a couple comments, too. We received, me and my wife are under UPMC Advantage, okay? And like you said, the doctors, the personnel, the people are great. The trouble is, the management structure is
right.
Corruption and problem here. We get almost every day, without fail, some publication from UPMC.
Yes.
Large print, large picture foldouts. I think they're going into the printing industry. Or it's one of their main, independent businesses.
Well, that's how they keep their brand out there. They're just trying to, I guess.
And it's silly shit. It's basic stuff like
I know.
How to put together a diet and the things that you should have checked and stuff. We're well beyond that, UPMC. Don't turn out this cookie-cutter crap for people that are pretty well informed about their health and everything. And it's a waste of paper, and I feel like collecting it and taking it and saying, here, stop it. Please stop it.
Well, the other thing is that it's also, we're paying for that.
Yes, I know. And I would say, stop it. We don't need this crap, and we don't need your concierge, blowhards talking about that stuff too. Just keep and trim the salaries of your top management and pay your taxes.
Ha!
Right? Oh, but here's an important question I've got for you. You're a journalist, you're in the media, you've been in communications all these years. Where are the professional journalists and trade organizations, professional organizations in this town on this issue? I would think they would.
Well, it's early in the day. But there aren't a lot of such organizations. I mean, there's the Pittsburgh. I don't even know what they call it anymore. I mean, that shows you where they are. I mean, reporters are a beleaguered bunch.
Right.
So if there's outrage, it doesn't matter. Think of the outrage directed at UPMC day after day, year after year.
Press, come on, because the press and you journalists have an extra edge over the anonymous public. You got the word, you got the signal, you got the paper, you got the print. And you know what I would think they would do? A little guerrilla journalism, like call up Chris Potter and get him on your show.
Well,
and see if they have any plan to distribute Post-Gazettes on those streets in front of those hospitals.
Yeah.
That would be hand it out to everybody that's going in the door. Get a parade permit if necessary. Do a little basic guerrilla journalism.
I like it.
Just to shame the bastards.
I like it. You can't shame them. You can't. They are beyond.
There's people out there that if they knew about it directly, they would be out right there and say, this is stupid. And they would talk about it in the hospitals as patients and visitors.
Well, you know what?
And you should be out there, too, with a sign.
And I don't doubt for a minute that Pittsburgh City Paper will be on this.
Yes.
And I'm curious, although not hopeful, about the reaction of the Tribune Review. Which will now, ostensibly be the only paper available in the gift shop?
Yeah, right.
If their journalistic instincts overpower their greedy business instincts, they will stand with the Post-Gazette.
I don't think they will.
I don't either.
The money. They'll stand with the board. That's what they'll do. That's how they were funded.
I wonder if they'll even
founded. That's how they're funded.
Yeah, but
that's how they'll exist.
I wonder if they'll cover it.
they'll mention it in a very small article, and that's it. But that's when you see that paid papers, paid media does what paid media does. But please, try to get Chris Potter on there. I'd like to see his...
You know what? I have to tell you, since Chris went over to the dark side of the Post-Gazette, I do not think he is available to us like he used to be.
Oh,
because here's the reason. Since he's a reporter now, he was a reporter here, but for a loosey-goosey, alternative weekly. But the Post-Gazette does not let their reporters go out on shows such as this offering opinions. Do you understand? Because opinions are not what they're... Tony Norman can be on the show because his work for them is about opinion. Rob Rogers could be. So columnists and cartoonists, but reporters, Chris Potter is...
wait a minute. Cartoonists do nothing but opinion.
That's what I'm saying. Cartoonists and columnists could come on my show.
Yeah.
But I don't think reporters... Reporters could come on and talk about a story they've done, but they'd have to do it in that cold, kind of calculated, not giving any personal opinion as they would in the... So Potter is now in a box in that respect, and
hey, get one of the other ones. You've got pull. You got influence in this town. Come on, lady.
One of the other, you mean get a columnist?
Yeah.
Get Tony. Well, I can get Tony.
Reporting the other UPMC stories.
Yeah. Okay.
Get him on there to talk this up. Of what's the Post-Gazette isn't going to roll over like some third world newspaper, are they?
Oh, hell no.
No, and they should take action. Like I said, I would start with free copies on the street.
I think that's a great idea. I think
that's what a free press does.
Okay, you need to call someone there and tell them that. Or you're waiting for me to do it. All right, okay, I'll do it. All right, always make the woman do it. Okay.
Just nudging your conscience, lady.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Nice
George
talking to you.
Bye.
I know, George. I recognize your voice. Nice talking to you.
Bye.
George from Moon. I don't know what... Ugh. Wait, I just lost my email. There it is. Okay, I have spilled my bile on that subject, and until for the moment, and until something else comes up, I have nothing left to say on it, unless somebody wants to call me and engage me in conversation about it, where we can rip into them and be on the other side. Yeah, right. Okay. Because no Supreme Court rulings have come down in the last half hour.
See.
Celine's going to see. Celine looks like somebody who woke up this morning, looked at her clock, and said, "Shit!"
That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. And I hate to think. I have you have you come down yet? Kind of. Yeah.
Woke up at 9:34.
Celine gained consciousness this morning at 9:34 at her home in the East End. She, the show starts, as you know, at 10. She's
really should be here.
She's here before me, getting things geared up. You made it at 1 minute. Yeah, 10:01 is really impressive. And
Super gross.
I'd like to... So, I don't know if she has underwear on. I think she did cover her body, but socks don't match. Isn't that an awful feeling? Okay, that's such an awful feeling. And she also was probably adding to it, is we were so excited about Damon being here to be...
I didn't want to make us look bad.
I know! Maybe he knew. Maybe there was some kind of a... We will definitely reschedule with him.
I think it'd be friendly.
Yeah, it would. It would just like someone would tell me right away. I know. So, when an apology is going back to women's, we've got to stop it. I proactively to myself in my early 20s from giggling. I used to be, as many women are, somebody who would say something and go, just really so giggling, so girly. And I told myself, you stop it. And all you have to do is in your head, get that in your head. I will not say I'm sorry unless there's a reason to say I'm sorry. I've been on that for a while. You don't hear a lot of that from me. I've definitely got it down. I am going to obliterate it if I can. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I was at a meeting the other day, and the chair of the meeting must have said, I'm sorry, about 5,000 times. It started like making me crazy. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. It was like that's the way you start a sentence. You say, I'm sorry, say whatever you're going to say. And that's how a lot of women talk. Here's what's interesting. It wasn't a woman. It was, however, a gay man. And might there be the same kind of... Did that say anything? That it was a gay man? Do gay men say I'm a woman?
Maybe it's oppressed minorities.
Maybe it's oppressed minorities.
Not that women are minorities. But
No, but oppressed.
Yeah.
It's absurd. Maybe it's white heterosexual males. Do you white heterosexual say I'm sorry? Huh? I'm sorry. Okay, we got an email on UPMC. Lynn, the word that's up. Oh, I love that word. I love that word. Is peevish. And yes, and Beth thanks Ann Devlin. She's the one who used that word for Tom Murphy when he was mayor, and I thought, dead on, peevish. Okay, we got a caller. Hello.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Hey. All right, very funny. I almost didn't catch it. I'm so used to hearing it. It's like or
Yeah. Funny thing, try to stop women from saying I'm sorry.
I bet you do.
What are you sorry for? Like, I'm sorry, am I disturbing you? Why do you yes or no? Yeah, it's always bothered me.
Now, this article that talked about it said that it may be that women are much more aware of politeness or of hurting someone or, yes, as you say in the example you use, of interrupting someone or distracting someone. And so whenever we finally open our mouths and speak, because as you know, listening to this show, anytime a woman calls in, it's really startling.
Yeah.
Because women don't have the same whatever. They're afraid to throw their 2 cents worth in. And when they do talk, I guess it's often, you start by saying, I'm sorry.
And I think the up talk
is part of it, too. So, too.
Yeah. And I'm trying my best. I stop my nieces, the younger ones.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Well, that's just the way I talk. Just quit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just I want confidence, assuredness of yourself, not being afraid to express your opinion.
Right.
Just coming right out to just come. Because even as I guess I technically am the smart black guy today. Anyway,
the very, very smart brother.
By the way, when you book a black guy, make sure you say 9:00. He'll be there at 11. So anyway, he'll come in at 11. Yo, what's up?
Well, oh God.
hopefully he's listening and he gets the joke. But
Oh, of course he will. No, he's
Yeah.
a funny guy. So, hey, Clarence.
yeah.
Were you going to say more about the? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I thought of you when this Rachel Dolezal or whatever her name is. I can never figure out how we were going to pronounce it.
Yeah.
When that story broke, I was with my sister and I thought, geez, I wonder what Clarence would
Yeah,
say.
You missed a good week.
I sure did.
Yeah.
I know I did.
Uh,
But it's granted complicated, but you are the one who doesn't think we should deal with race
I
at all.
boiled it-
So what do you think?
in the conversations that I had on Facebook, I boiled it down to this: look, race is made up anyway, so whatever.
Okay, so you don't
So if
you don't
she
take
wants to- if she wants
exception.
to describe herself as black, so.
That's what I thought. You think
Yeah.
race is a made up construct,
Yeah.
which scientists tell us it pretty much is.
No,
You know-
it's not pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But you can't. You see, people can't believe that their eyes aren't. Well, everybody with dark. But it doesn't work. It's true. Some of the blackest people I know are from India, and they're technically Aryans,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know what they. I just call them because you almost have to say people from India.
Yes, because
Yeah.
otherwise people think you're politically incorrectly referring to Native Americans.
Exactly. So, but what I think the thing that I came up with, and is having conversations, it was that this is really a race. It's not a race thing. It's a color thing.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go,
Yeah.
most
The-
more oppressed you are.
That is correct.
So the problem
Even-
isn't race; it's color.
Right, it's color. And even within the African American community, that's an issue.
I even talked about that. I'm like, look, my brother's dark skinned, and I like to say high yellow because
Hi, Yella? Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, believe me, I could see the difference in people's reactions to us. We have basically the same personality, but he's feared more than I am
Because he's darker.
because he's darker.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's
you know what?
Slightly bigger. He's not even much bigger than I am. So yeah, and it's been that way. And I said, any high yellow person who doesn't admit that they had an easier life, than this. I said, look at it this way. Look at the protests, around these issues,
Mm-hmm.
and look at a lot of the guys who've been choked, shot, and find where are all the high yellow folks. Just look at the video.
They're black. Yeah.
They used to say, what they say, light, bright, and damn near white folks, or they're not in the inner city. They're there. I don't know, but they're not as noticeable or something.
Right. I hear you. I remember. I mean the African American elite for years looked, even in Pittsburgh. Think of some of the high status black families in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They are so light. Their skin is the same color as mine.
Yeah.
Seriously. And I remember long ago there was a guy who headed the NAACP. He was white.
Mm-hmm.
He was black, although he was white.
Yeah.
I mean, his name was white and his skin was as white as mine.
Mm-hmm.
And it always, yet he was black. And he could have passed.
Mm-hmm.
I do tip my hat to African Americans of a certain age who had that white skin, who could have passed, and who instead fiercely identified as African American. I do tip my hat to them.
I even think if I was, alive back then, I probably would have been a little bit more, less about the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
I would have made my point some other way.
Yeah.
And back then, because my grandmother, if it wasn't for her nappy hair, she would have looked like a white woman walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you.
All right.
Always good
that
to
was a good week of stuff.
I know. And I said before I left, just watch. All hell's going to break loose next week. And
Hey,
it
look,
did.
When NASCAR decided to, stop using the rebel flag, I went, holy cow, what the hell?
I didn't see that. NASCAR has. Well,
NASCAR.
Everybody's getting on the bandwagon, and all of it sort of strikes me. I'm hated that flag for so long. But it all is. We got to do more than deal with like things like the word N-word and flags. I mean, this is way around the edges, folks.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think it's spiraling towards the. Like, did you hear that interview on that? What is that show called? It was Barack Obama.
Yeah. Mark Maron.
We're talking about you can't.
Yeah.
You just can't do a 50-degree turn.
No.
A big ship.
No.
And
that's the point the president was making.
Exactly.
Was completely lost because in our media are so stupid that all that came out of the president's attempt to say we've come a long way, we got a hell of a long way to go. There's 300 years behind us here, and blah blah blah. But he used the N-word, and that's all anybody's.
Hear it until I think, oh, that's controversial.
Yeah, that was and that's so his point gets completely lost, and everybody just talks about, oh my God, he used the N-word. As a matter of fact, Damon Young. That's what his last blog post was. White murderer says nigger. It's not about race. Black president says nigger. Let's talk about race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a meme going around with that on there about that. Nobody said, so the president uses it one time.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. All the people who are against him been using it for the last 6 years.
Yes.
Nobody says a thing.
Yeah. So his last, I love it. His last paragraph is, so you have reflexive clutching and pseudo outrage at the use of a word too explosive to print, but stories on it are printed anyway using an abbreviated version that allows everyone to know exactly what they're talking about, although they're not mentioning it, although they are talking about it. I love this country, he says. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
You know what? I'm going to bookmark. I'm going to find this site and bookmark it. There was something, book notes or whatever. Not
Bug notes.
Bug notes. Yeah, I've been watching this stuff. Ever since you talked about
is that not the greatest?
Yeah.
Is that not the greatest? But check this one out too. Very very smart brothers. BROTHAS.com. Okay.
Oh, yeah, he's about to get a lot of hits coming out of Facebook.
Okay, great. Okay, you.
Right,
nice talking to you.
Right.
Bye. Okay, hey, thanks for this, NP. The Supreme Court rulings are coming. Some of them are coming down tomorrow at 10 a.m., but that might not be the ones we're eagerly awaiting. There are 11 more opinions that are sitting there waiting to come out. They're going to have to come by Monday. Is that what everybody? So, MP says, my guess is same-sex marriage and Affordable Care Act won't come until Monday. They'll keep us hanging. But so they might dribble out and whatever. He also says, how about Mylan Pharma? They incorporated in the Netherlands to pay fewer taxes, but now want the FTC to come to their rescue to avoid a takeover attempt by another pharmaceutical firm. So far, the FTC has rebuffed them. There's an article in yesterday's Post-Gazette. I must have missed that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I hope the FTC continues to say F you. Have I said I'm sorry at all during this show? So either. Says here, I mean, they try to make the argument that women saying I'm sorry is not really what's going on, but we shoehorn apologies into instances where being direct. No. I mean, women apologize when they're asking for a raise. If women even ask for a raise. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, Celine. Could we, yes, go ahead. Hello, caller.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
What do you think of Obama now with the trade deal? You think he's wonderful?
A lot of issues with Barack Obama, but
I mean,
would you want? Hey, we were offered a choice. Would you want John McCain as president?
no, I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, he's the
uh,
president we got. I don't agree with everything he does.
Well, this is a big one, though, this trade agreement. This is going to really... Have you seen the thing on WikiLeaks? The leaks for the 4 chapters of the trade bill? What it has in it? You read that, and you'll see just what's going on.
Okay. I didn't see it.
It's got the reforms that was done on the thing.
Oh, that'll shock me.
It's not that good anyway, but it was something. There's so many things.
Caller.
I mean, the guy, he has to be a Republican inside, honestly.
No. You know what he is? He
Wall Street buyout.
He is leading an American government that is in the thrall of corporations.
Yeah.
Big business own us, just as UPMC owns us. All those corporations own all of the world. Look at how states fall all over themselves, offering corporations anything if they'll just come to them. Corporations rule the roost, and they rule our government, and they
have a fascist government.
I'm not. We're heading there.
Mussolini would be proud of us.
We're
really.
okay.
I mean, seriously.
We're heading in that way. All right.
We're just now it's going to be worse, and people don't think not.
The thing, if people,
when it does, they'll get it. They'll get it then.
No, but the American people are every complicit in this. So I don't, if there are enough of us, if we paid attention, if we could take this government back. We could. It would be revolutionary. We could.
But he won't. They won't let him because he's not Republican or Democrat. Independent will never win because.
Well, you can't be. I mean, we're like beaten down sheep. We don't work at it. We just bitch and moan. I don't know. And I mean, I'm not absolving myself. I talk.
I'm happy with him. I can't know where. Like you said, though, he's got to do what he got to do.
Well, I hear you. We certainly know where you stand on it.
Okay. Then.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Okay. So is that it? I think that's it. Pink flamingos. Well, I was going to see if Damon could come tomorrow, but I don't want him tomorrow if we're going to have Supreme Court things coming in. So I'll try to get him on later in the week, maybe. Yeah. And I don't know what I probably screwed it up. This is what happens when I set up an interview. I'm sorry, I'm sighing in your... Listen, I'm 2 seconds away from sharing my chicken recipe. Oh, good. We have a caller. Hello?
Morning, Lynn.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Lynn, I'll be real brief today. Hey, a few weeks ago I did call you, and I don't know if you remember the call. Before you went on vacation, I spoke for 10 minutes and took about 10 minutes of your time and totally scorched earth the everything. For that, I am sorry. I was telling my friends that day that I went kind of wacko. But that's the first thing.
Did you just say I'm sorry?
And different things.
Yeah.
I think it is bull, though, when some people... The other side of the went to say it too much, but a lot of times people will just scorch earth people, and they won't say their apology. They won't. They can't admit they're wrong, and they're afraid to tell anybody, hey, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry the way I treated you. Even though I even told my one cousin, because I was going to call, I called him at night about things. I mulled things over in my head when I was lifting weights, and I thought, I scorched earth my friend. I scorched earth my cousin. I come on your show and spend 10 minutes screaming and yelling. And then at nighttime, it bubbled over, and I thought, I got to be the man and call people and tell people, hey, the way you conduct yourself.
Well, good for you. I give you a gold star.
That's number one. Number two is, I tell my kids, I refer to myself as the big brown pope. And I call my wife Brown, and I tell everybody this, that there's no such thing as race. That's like a car. You wouldn't say I have a black car, so my car is better than your car. I have a white car or a red car. It's only a pigmentation.
Yeah.
So therefore, the only people who are white are albinos.
Right.
If you're not albino, you're not white. So the second thing of issue, and the third was, I'm not sure who the caller was, but he's called about the trade agreement.
Yeah.
We're in an international marketplace. I'm a small business owner, and I'm very pro-union. But we have to me, I'm always for free trade. I mean, it goes both ways. We want to sell our to the rest of the world. So instead of us saying we're not isolation.
Yeah, but
the gentleman who says, "Oh, there's no free trade, there is things in place, environmental and that's the main thing. There's something else involved, which makes it different than the other trade policies.
Yeah.
So you just can't say we're isolationists. We don't want a free trade. But like you said,
but the reality is, it's a global,
with range resources.
I know.
We're finding out now that you mean that these chemicals are causing problems and they didn't want us to know about it. I mean, duh.
Yeah.
Hey, come on. But their commercials are so good. I mean, even I was like, hey, this range resource is pretty cool. But then they do a good job of presentation and facade and they're talking. You see the commercials where I'm on my farm. Range resources are great, no problems. But again, it seems we're dealing with the devil though, and that's the problem. I'm for fracking, but I want.
Well, I don't know if that's even possible.
Well, they spend about 2% more, according to what I read in the paper. If they spend 2% more of the life of the well, they can make things a lot safer.
Well, okay.
Possibly.
All right. Hey.
But see, again...
My show's done.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Lynn. I talked too long again.
Yeah, and you better say I'm sorry, too. Okay, bye.
I'm not saying it.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, Lynn.
Bye. I was going to read this great letter to the editor. You don't.
Whatever you want. It's your show.
It is my show. I just want to say this great letter to the editor by a guy who is a history teacher and veteran of the Marines about the Confederate flag. But he said, several years ago, I moved to Westmoreland County. I was shocked by the number of Confederate flags proudly displayed on people's cars, homes, T-shirts. You would think you were it was a part of Dixie. Hello? It is. It is. When I have asked some locals about it, they think that it's their way of showing they're a rebel. And he says, no, you are not. When you display it, you're showing people your ignorance and lack of respect for your own heritage. This is, it's shameful, the flag. And he goes on to explain why. And then he tells these dimwits, if you're from Western Pennsylvania, chances are your great-great-great-grandfather fought and maybe died fighting against this flag that you so proudly display today. More lost their lives because of this flag than in any other war in our country. Since the war ended, the flag has represented not only the Civil War era South, but everything it stood for, including racism, segregation, discrimination, hate, and terrorism. White supremacist groups proudly wave this flag as a show of their racism. So don't tell me this flag means redneck or rebel or it's a heritage thing, because it is not. Not in Pennsylvania, anyway. A patriot would not support a flag that was the symbol of an armed rebellion against the United States. Just be honest, okay? You're ignorant of your history and more than likely racist. Good letter, Bill Marks of Delmont. And on that note, we close a very strange show. Not what I expected it to be, but we'll regroup, reconnoiter, recover, and have a good day.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoint of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.